Welcome to Africa Diaspora News Channel. My name is Lynient Akotonou making this report. An African-American brother in his recent video said he doesn't totally agree with Captain Ibrahim Traoré's truth. And what is Captain Ibrahim Traoré's truth? Captain Ibrahim Traoré said that the white supremacists, that's the colonizers, are to be held responsible for the pain Africans are currently going through, but the struggles Africans are currently facing, for the challenges, for the deplorable state African countries are currently in. But is it really true? Let's watch the video and then we'll come back to talk about it.
So according to President Ibrahim of Burkina Faso, the reason why Africa is struggling today in the year of our Lord 2025 is because of white people, or more specifically, because of Europe. If it wasn't for Europe, Africans would be thriving. Now, see, here's the thing about all of that. No, that's not why Africans are struggling. And this is coming from an African, well, a literal African American. Africa is struggling because of Africa. The decisions being made within each of those 55 nations is the reason why that individual nation is currently struggling or thriving. The so-called white man.
Now, after seeing this video, what do you have to say? Do you totally agree with what this brother said, or you totally agree with Captain Ibrahim Traoré? Let's not forget that our leaders, our African leaders, are to be held accountable for the transatlantic trade. They played a significant role in selling some of our African brothers to the European traders. So, on one hand, he is correct. And on the other hand, Captain Ibrahim Traoré is correct. So our leaders, our African leaders, had a role to play, and the white supremacists, the colonizers, also had a role to play. So they both played a role in making Africa what it is today. Now, our leaders played a significant role. Our leaders, African leaders and communities played a significant role in the transatlantic slave trade, in buying and selling Africans to European traders. And for various reasons, political reasons, greed, their pockets. They did this, most of them did this to eliminate their political counterparts, their opposition party. They did that to eliminate them, to enrich their pockets. For various reasons. Greed is deeply etched into the life of our African leaders, not just African leaders, of Africans. Yes, Africans, I would say. Though we have some that stood against this. Now, some of them gladly sold African. Now, the selling of African wasn't just during the transatlantic slave trade. It began even before that time. It started a long time ago. African leaders were already selling African. They had already started the act. So it wasn't when the colonizers came that they started selling African out. No, it began a long time ago. Now, one thing is, you wouldn't get a man if the man doesn't sell himself to you. You wouldn't get a nation if there is no snitch in that nation. Unfortunately, our leaders began this act a long time ago. Now, some, for economic reasons, firearms were given to them, alcohol were given to them in exchange for our African brothers and sisters. They were sold to them in exchange. That's not all. Political rivalry, in order for them to expand their horizon, to expand their territories, what they did was they invaded the neighboring communities and took some of our African brothers and sisters as slaves. Political reason. It was also an existing structure. Slave trade was already part of some of our African societies, even before colonization. Yes, it was. Kingdoms like Dahomey in West Africa was deeply entrenched in this. More than any other African society, they were engaged in slave trade, in buying and selling of our African brothers and sisters. So, is it really the fault of the imperialists, of the white supremacists, the colonizers, or it was already something our leaders were doing? If you want to talk about this extensively, right? Like I said, it's not possible to get a nation if there is no one ready to snitch on that nation. Our leaders already sold us out. They were already entrenched in the system. So what they did was, since they're already doing this, they're already buying and selling at the domestic level, let's take it international. And then what did they do, the colonizers? They upped the game. They saw that our leaders were gullible. They gave some of them mirrors. They gave some of them firearms, alcohol, and other products in exchange for us. And how about today? If only our African leaders will stand. Now imagine Cameroon President Paul Biya, 92 years old, wanting to run again for presidency. If only our African leaders will take greed out of the picture. Oh yes, Africa is going to be a place that everyone will run to. But no, our African leaders are busy wanting to fill their bellies with things that they will not even finish in this lifetime. So, on one hand, I agree with this brother because our leaders had a role. They've always had a hand in everything that concerns Africa. Some of them boldly and gladly sell Africa, sell the resources. They claim it's for peace to reign. They want US to intervene. Is that really it? What was the agreement? What's the end of the bargain? What's the end? What's the catch? What is going to be going into their pocket? Now, the thing is, if it doesn't favor them, they won't do it. So, yes, the white supremacists did a thing. They are not friends with Africa. They are only looking for ways to enrich themselves with the resources in Africa. But our leaders are not innocent either. They've been in this. They keep selling Africa out to these guys. What do you have to say about this story? Do you agree with this brother? Or do you stand for Captain Ibrahim Traoré against the imperialist? Comment below and do not forget to share, like, subscribe, and turn on your notification button. My name is Lynient